We're going to be pounding the pavement. We're going to be cruising all over the Des Moines Metro, and we're going to go through different developments, telling you who's building in them, what's going on inside those developments, and what might be to come in our new series called Developing Des Moines and Beyond. So make sure you tune in every week. We're bringing you a different development and what's happening. On this week's Developing Iowa, it brings us to Ankeny. Ankeny is a suburb just north of Des Moines, and it is well known for new construction, and it's been the main spot. If you're a builder, you got to build in Ankeny since the early 2000s. Now, Waukee's caught up as far as the new construction goes and developments, but Ankeny has been on the map for a long time. When you think Ankeny, you think of development all over town. The one place you might not think about is east of I-35, and that's where we're going today. Just east of I-35, the very first development was Clover Ridge Estates and Hillside Estates. They sat side by side and it had a big pond right between them. Hillside Estates were more of those upper level homes built by Timber Ridge. There's a bunch of builders that build in these developments back in the day because it wasn't so, one builder has the entire development. Just south of that pond, just south of Hillside Estates was Clover Ridge Estates, more of those entry-level homes. We saw builders like Windsor Homes and Grace Homes. We saw more of that entry-level. Back then, it was about $180,000 to $200,000 to buy a home. Both of those builders are no longer around because it's been about 15 years, so they've either retired or just moved on. And then you go up the hill in Clover Ridge Estates, and there's a new development that just opened up in about 2019, and that development is Clover Ridge East. And in there, you've got just a mix of builders. You had Orton Homes, you had, right now we're in Zenith Build and Design. It's a beautiful home back on the end of a cul-de-sac. And they're pretty much wrapped up in Clover Ridge East. You also had Greenland Homes. You had some entry level mixed with some really high-end homes as well. And there also was Clover Ridge West. Now that's just across 4 Mile Road to the west, and that was just one street that went back and it wound around, had a cul-de-sac and some more of those high-end homes. But Clover Ridge has been a place that's been set for a long time. It's kind of a nice little pocket that not a lot of people seem to know about, and it is really convenient because you're quick to the interstate if you commute to Des Moines or even if you commute to Ames. But you're not far from Ankeny. You're 5 minutes from everything on Delaware Avenue. So now we move up to Deer Creek Estates. Deer Creek Estates was a development that they started in about 2007. And as you remember, that's when the real estate market kind of crashed. And the development had just put the first street in and they were really slow out of the gates. And they started a couple houses that sat and had a tough time selling. Orton Homes and 3G, Jerry's Homes, they built some homes out here to begin with. They finally got some of those sold, and then they sold an entire plat to Classic Builders. And Classic Builders was a builder that could build homes for a really good price. And that was a start to the explosion of Deer Creek. That road, Williamsburg, is sold really quick. And then all of a sudden, all the builders came out here, and this development really took off. Now, this development is just north of 1st Street, just east of I-35. Again, it's a great commute to Ames. It's about 15 minutes, and it's about a 15-minute commute to downtown Des Moines. It's just outside of Ankeny, so you're still in your own little pocket, your own little world. But they have just a big mix of builders out here. You have DS Solid, you have Jerry's Homes, you have Orton, you had 3G, you had Elevated Builders. There's a pretty good consortment of builders. And like I said earlier, Ankeny is kind of the place, if you want to build homes, you have to come to Ankeny because that's just what it's known for. And that's how you get your foothold into the building industry. Chambers is the first road that came in. It has a nice boulevard feel, and it runs right up to the Deer Creek Park. It took about 5 or 6 years for them to get this park in, but they did get it in, and it is used. They got a field there, they got a playground, basketball courts, lots of really good things going on in Deer Creek. Now, they decided they were going to develop the crossings at Deer Creek, and that is just south of Deer Creek across a huge ravine. You can't get to one or the other right now, but it is coming very, very soon. The most expensive part of this entire development, which is owned by an investment group. There's a number of different investors, the Deer Creek Investment Group. But that is the most expensive part, getting from Deer Creek to the crossings at Deer Creek. And they decided they were going to do a culvert system and put a road connecting the two. And that's 4 Mile Road, which also connects down to the Clover Ridge Estates and up to the new Costco. So Ankeny is a town of about 75,000 people, and it has just grown and grown. I graduated high school here in '96, and we had 20,000 people. And if you look it up nationally, Ankeny is one of the fastest growing communities. So it's a great place for new construction, a great place to be. And now that Costco is here, we're going to see an explosion in the retail market. And that is all just east of I-35. So we're looking at seeing a lot of growth in this area. So just north of Deer Creek is another development that's coming soon. It's kind of like the Prairie Trail 2.0. It's being developed by DRA Properties. DRA Properties is a big developer in town. And they really do a good job of making sure the community is nice, making sure that it makes sense. And they don't just plop houses or plop lots on a plat map. They do it well. They have, design companies actually design them to be friendly to the community. So that is good. But let's head down to the crossings at Deer Creek. Now we're just pulling into the crossings at Deer Creek. This development was back in about 2017 when they first opened it up. It's right off of First Street, and whenever you're off those main roads, they typically will put that multi-family up front and maybe some retail so that you can create the buffer between them and the single-family homes. So right off the bat, you've got some Greenland townhomes, and there's two entrances in. Greenland's got townhomes on both of them. Destiny has townhomes on the other side. And then as you step back a little bit, we got some single-family row homes built by Orton Homes, and then Jerry's Homes has their own little villa product as well. They are great lots, but right now, we're crossing past the Jerry's Home Villas. We had a bunch of those listed and sold a ton of those. They were a great property because they're standalone homes, but they're a little bit more affordable. So when you have a home that can be a little bit more affordable than another home, so let's say you build the same plan in two different areas and one's $20,000 cheaper or $10,000 cheaper, that price is basically the lot. So when you got a cheaper lot, there's usually something to it. The villas are a little bit cheaper because they have small lots. So as we step back in here, the first street that was actually developed in here was H Street. And it was a beautiful street. It's a cul-de-sac and has a number of different builders on it. As we go down here, we had anywhere from Orton Homes to Oakstone Homes. Jerry's Homes built some on here. Elevated Builders built some homes in here. Kyanite. So it's just a hodgepodge of a bunch of builders. Clayman. I'm going off memory, so if I miss anybody, I apologize. But it's just a beautiful street. And having all the different builders is a great thing because it changes up the look of the homes, because the builders have their own style, their own look. When you drive down the street, you can tell that it's not all the same builder, and I really like that aspect. But this cul-de-sac was the first one put in, and then they kind of expanded from there, and the development really took off. The Crossings has moved into its 11th and 12th plat now. Over on the far east side of this development. Right now we're on the far west side of the Crossings at Deer Creek. But on the east side, they're just putting in some of the final streets over there. And then their final stage will be the lots that back up to the ravine. There's one more plat that backs up to that ravine that's going to be coming probably in the fall, maybe next spring. If you want one of those lots, contact me. I can help you get one of those reserved. But this development has grown, and it's got everything from the starter homes to the very, very nice homes. I think, there's probably a couple houses in here over $1 million. And it is, again, just north of First Street, close to the interstate. A lot of these homes out here were built probably in 2017 and 18, and then it slowed down a little bit. And then Destiny came in, and they've cranked out quite a few homes in the last year. Greenland Homes is in here now. And the majority of the homes that you're seeing built right now are those starter new construction homes. And you've got Greenland, you've got Jerry's, you've got Destiny, you got Elevated Builders, you got DS Solid Construction. They're all building homes in here right now, and they're priced anywhere from about $360,000 on up to $500,000. So there's a lot of good options in here. There's more streets to come. And then just north of here, D.R. Horton's got a development, Canyon Landing. In Canyon Landing, you've got homes ranging from $315,000, on up to probably $450,000. And then they also have some townhomes that are being built, and they have some rentals too. So that's just north of the Crossings. It doesn't connect to it just yet, but eventually they'll come pretty close to each other. A couple more quick things about the Crossings of Deer Creek. Just south of First Street, the school has bought another 40 to 60 acres. So they're planning on another school on the east side of the interstate, really, really close to the Crossings of Deer Creek. And then again, I mentioned earlier, there's that development just north of Deer Creek that's going to be coming in the fall. If you're interested to know more about that, feel free to reach out to me, send me a DM or call or text me. And I can get you more information about that development because it's going to be pretty cool. The crossings of Deer Creek, one last thing about this development, that they have a nice big 16-acre park where there's a big pond, and I'm assuming when the city gets around to it, they're going to put a nice playground, maybe a walking path there as well. So there's lots of good things coming out here. I appreciate you following along here. If you have any questions, if you want to know more about any other developments all across Des Moines, make sure you comment below or send me a DM. Thanks for watching. And if you want to see more, make sure you subscribe, like, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.